All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. It's been a while since I talked about these two devices as personal use. I'm currently using the Z Fold 6. This is my 1 TB Z Fold 6 that I got back at launch, and this is my 512 gig Z Flip 6 that I got back at launch. And they've been great. I used them on and off since I was testing a whole bunch of folding phones recently. I was recording with this particular device a lot. So One UI 7 was getting rolled out on April 10th. It is April 24th, and I was like, let me try again. Let me fire up the phones to try again. And lo and behold, here they are. So I've already updated my Z Fold 6, and I'm using it, checking it out, and it's fine. It's predominantly focusing on AI, and then it also adds Android 15. So currently, this phone right here is on Android. Let's see, it's on Android 14. Android 14 6.1.1. And so it's definitely outdated when it comes to that. But nonetheless, I haven't updated it yet. I'm going to go ahead and update it. But I did update this one, and it pretty much just gives you Android 15, and then it gives you a lot more of this AI stuff. Things that I definitely probably won't use. My Ultras and my S25 Ultra and my S25 Plus, they have the update. They've been on One UI 7, and they've been on Android 15 for a minute. So those are newer phones though. So it's up to you to try to figure out if you want to update your device or not. I haven't done any betas. I chose not to do betas. I wanted to just get whatever the official ROMs were. And so that's why I went with just waiting it out. And so it became official on April 10th, like I said. And then they stopped it because I guess some people were having issues. And I said, that's a deterrent right there for me, not to even try and just don't even worry about installing. So I just didn't think about it anymore. And I moved on to checking out other phones. But using it, man, I don't really see much difference. And also, yeah, it says the 24 series will get it, but I don't see any difference in performance. I don't typically use a lot of AI, so I changed my power button back to this. But you can use. I was gonna say you can go ahead and use it like that, but you have the Gemini on here, and also you can see now it scrolls like this. Yeah, you can sort. It's defaults. That's just the scrolling right there. So, but on the S25 Ultra, I do have my Gemini down here, ready for use, and I will in fact use it on my Galaxy my Z Fold 6 and my Z Flip 6. But folks, it's time for a refresh already. Like, these are coming up on time to switch. I believe this was October and this was July when they dropped. So, of last year. So, I'm in no hurry to try to give you any kind of, because I don't think I'm going to see any difference in performance. We already know what the special edition looks like for the Z Fold, and we know what it has to offer in comparison to this device. And it's a much better phone. But nonetheless, if you have the Z Fold 6, you really don't need to switch. But from a reviewer standpoint, I want to get my hands on as much tech as possible. And when I checked out the special edition Fold, man, congrats to the winners, by the way, of all those giveaways. There is a link in the description where you can get on current giveaways. And it's a doozy. It's a big one, man. So if you want to win some big prizes, you definitely can get in on the link description. Lots of people have already purchased their entries. I suggest you get in on it. The Nintendo Switch down there. Hit the link in the description. You'll find every giveaway that I have. Just scroll to the bottom of that link and you'll see exactly what giveaways I'm currently involved in. So, but if you want to win a nice folding phone, definitely hit the link in the description and get your entries in. I don't suggest that you wait, because it's going to pile up like it did last time, and lots of people bought lots of entries. It doesn't matter how many it matters how many entries you buy, but it's still random, folks. You have to remember it's a lottery, basically. So if you buy 10,000 entries and then someone who buys 5,000 wins, you got to understand that. So nonetheless, I don't think I'm going to experience anything different with this device. I'm actually looking forward to, I'm using it right now, but I'm actually looking forward to the current generation, or the next generation that's coming up. That's what I'm looking for. So I've given you tons of content with this phone, like recording with it. Like if I go into my settings here, you can see all these different things I've recorded with. I've recorded so many. This has just been that phone that I'm recording with, because I wanted to give you the proper aspect ratio when doing so. And I think that, again, I really hope that other phones adopt this aspect ratio when it comes to doing recordings with the folding phone, either the 6x7 or 7x6 or, the 9x10. But it just has to be this way for me when I'm recording certain phones. I just think that it's the best experience when you're watching a video from a folding phone. I'll continue to try to record this way for you when opportunity presents itself. And lately, I've been using my Sony mirrorless camera to get more stuff done instead of using phones. I've just been kind of in my mirrorless camera game right now. Just been kind of wanting to push it out this way, predominantly for color accuracy on certain things. Some phones just can't get the color accuracy right. Like I close this, and some phones can't show you this is the true color of this case. This is the true color of these cases right here. These are the real colors. The Sony mirrorless cameras, the lenses is where it's at. So these are the true colors. And that's kind of what I was kind of, getting into when I was looking at some of the footage on some of the phones. They do good, but they just can't match actual glass. So nonetheless, I've been in my mirrorless camera phase. I will record more though with these phones, with this particular phone. Right now, this is the only phone that does that aspect ratio that I know of. So hopefully there'll be more to come. But, I'm following up on these phones. I haven't updated this one yet because I'm going to use this one next to the Z Flip 6 and the Z Fold 6 to kind of see if there's any difference in like day-to-day task and performance. I don't anticipate it will be, but I want to just give a quick follow-up that they've resumed it. And I don't know when they resumed it because I wasn't technically using these particular phones. I was using my other phones, and I have multiple SIM cards, and so I just put my main SIM card back over here. I kind of shuffle things around again. I was using the iPhone 16e as my primary phone, and then I ordered a physical SIM card again and got it back, and now so I can switch between all the other Android phones. And I just moved my second line to the iPhone 16e to free me up, so I'll be able to just roam about. I didn't want to have all my phones on iPhone lines, so or stuck with eSIM. So it's quicker to pop in and out. I've actually rotated my SIM card today probably 7 times, testing things out, making sure everything was good on all the phones and network. And you just can't do that with eSIM. It takes a little bit of time. But nonetheless, I'm excited to follow up and just tell you, hey, this will probably be a good run. I don't anticipate I'll have any issues with these phones. This one still being on 6.1.1 and Android 14. And this Z Fold, I decided to go ahead and move it up to 7.0. With Android 15. So far in my testing and using, it's been fine. I don't see anything wrong with it. No complaints whatsoever. I'm just happy to be able to see that Samsung is still trying to do something. I really think that, to win people over this next go around, it's going to take something, man. It's going to take some time because people are keeping their phones longer now. I don't anticipate switching phones too much. Here's my Ultra, S25 Ultra. It's just really not needed really when it comes to like smartphones today. They're so good. They're so stable. Most of them are stable. Most of them are really good. And you just don't need a switch. And to me, smartphone reviews are just kind of teetering off. It's just, I think it's becoming so redundant with, I've narrowed it down to probably just battery and cameras and hardware because the software on most of these phones are pretty stable. So some people always say, well, I don't just use cameras isn't my main thing. Well, I'm sure battery is your main thing. It has to be something because you've got to have strong battery when you have these very powerful phones like this. And then when they push out these updates, you're going to need storage. So that's why I tend to get 512 and 1 terabyte whenever possible. And I'll probably get the 1 terabyte version of the next generation of this Z Fold and 512 for the Z Flip lineup. There was an announcement from Motorola where they brought out their next folding phone, and it's in this form factor right here. And hey, it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money, and I think that's going to be a tough sell for Motorola because I would assume by now that all smartphone sales are down. Like sales on everything is down, and it's just becoming so just redundant and mundane. It's just bad. It's just nothing new really. So phones are like the Z Fold 6 is still an exciting phone. I have all these phones again because, well, I like content, I like tech, I review phones, and tablets and all this stuff. So that's the only reason I have it. I know that if I didn't have all of these devices at my disposal, I would just still have a basic flip phone because I'm kind of worn out, or I'd just love to go back to a BlackBerry Passport and have it as basic as that, or maybe even a BlackBerry Curve. Because I still have flip phones actually, but I would just go to something like that because these are not overwhelming. They've just kind of become the same. And so what are you looking for when you get a software update from a company? You want big changes. And they're saying, hey, big changes on One UI 7, but really I don't see anything that different except for the AI. And how often do I use the AI? Not very often. So this is still a solid phone. This is still a solid device as well. And I don't anticipate that changing. I just think that people are not going to be as hyped to switch from these particular phones when the next generations come out. So it would be cool if Samsung just skipped a generation and then brought out something really worthwhile, because we're starting to hear rumors of a folding iPhone. Once that happens, unfortunately, all of these phones they're gonna start copying whatever they do, or they're just gonna start trying to push out similar form factors. And the sad part is you had phones like phones from ZTE with that same form factor, just not promoted right, done wrong in some areas, and way overpriced. But Apple's phone, because there's a lot of phones that are way before their time. A lot of folding phones that could have taken over if marketed properly and released in a certain way, but didn't happen. So they fall to the wayside. I still have my phones like that because I think they're very nice. As a matter of fact, I was using this phone today because I was like, man, this phone is not outdated. I think it's still fire. And I think it's just a phone that it's just a device, I should say, that's just really, really good. It doesn't run as fast and as fluid as some other phones I have, but still, it gets the job done, and it is fast and fluid. Just when you start to put it up against phones with these elite processors and things like that, and 8th-gen Snapdragon, it's just not going to feel as fast. So I really hope that phones like that make a comeback. I'm still hopeful that BlackBerry makes a comeback, LG makes a comeback, because in the U.S. market, we're not dealing with much at all. We don't have much to choose from. That's just unfortunate. We don't have anything to choose from, and it's not looking real good for the U.S. market. That's how I feel about it. After getting all the imports that I used to do imports when my channel first started, and after getting more of those back in, the Apple Find M5, all these different phones, they're better. They're better than what's being offered in the U.S. It's just that simple. So the U.S. market has to do better than this. Motorola has to do better than what they just dropped. And once Apple does a folding phone, sadly enough, it's a wrap for a lot of these other folding phones, man. People just won't, because iOS is super stable. You get better support with Apple in most cases. In my experience, you can walk into an Apple store, and it's just a better experience overall where I live at. So hopeful that Apple does release a folding device. If it costs $2,000, I'll buy it. I gave them $2,000 at some point. People say, oh my God, it's going to cost $2,300. We gave Samsung $2,000. And it's current, and all the imports cost about $2,000 to $5,000. So I'm going to give Apple $2,300 if I choose to do so, which I probably will, if they bring out a good folding phone. It is what it is. Need something different, because the iPhones, while nice, they have definitely plateaued when it comes to hardware. They have got to do something else. Got to. This isn't going to work anymore, Apple. So, it's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed. One UI 7 for me is rolling out. Check your folding device from Samsung, the Z Fold 6, the Z Flip 6, if you haven't already gotten it. And if you've gotten it already, you probably have. What's been your experience with it up to this point? I don't think I'm going to have any problems with these. I'm going to continue to run smooth like they did before the update. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys got to say in the comments. See you in the next one. Take care.